What up, Weeblets, light novel readers, and every phase in between. I am Zach.
And I'm Sean.
And welcome to Low Key Weeb. It's time for us to bust out those waifu wall scrolls, lay out our figurines, and let our weeb flag fly. Today, we're going to be talking about Season 2 of Demon Slayer, except we've been saying that we're going to do the whole season, but there's no way. Mugen Train is just too much to cover on its own, let alone both parts of the second season.
So yes, we're liars, men are trash.
Especially us.
I mean, that's why we're doing this, right?
Yeah, our taste is trash, and that's why we're here. So anyone knows, there is a Mugen Train movie. That is not what we're covering. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just, in a movie form instead of a series, instead of being episodic. But today we're going to be looking into the actual first seven episodes of Season 2.
Yep, 7 episodes.
So let's hear the deets.
So the beginning of Season 2 of Demon Slayer follows Tanjiro and the boys as they seek out to learn more about the Hinokami Kagura that Tanjiro can do. So to do that, they seek out Rengoku, and they find themselves aboard the Mugen Train.
If you haven't seen this yet, spoilers are ahead, and we are going to dive right in. The first episode is, I believe, an anime only, and it's just to kind of let you get to know Rengoku more. So it's just so much Bento.
It's so much Bento. He spends so much money on Bento. He's propping up the entire Bento economy.
He is. He's saving these people's lives just by spending it on Bento.
Pretty sure they can retire.
So he is investigating the Mugen Train because people have been disappearing, and they are thinking it's because of demon sightings. Prior to this, you get to meet this old lady and her granddaughter selling Bento. Old lady talks about demons and that they are real. The little girl doesn't believe it.
Little girl doesn't care. She only cares about making Bento.
Yep, and everyone's worried because there's a slasher going around killing people. So our boy Rengoku is checking into the Mugen Train issue, and when he gets to... The Mugen Train is currently being worked on, and when he gets to the warehouse where it is being worked on, Speed Demon ends up grabbing one of the people there.
Yep, sure does.
He knows he's outmatched, so he's holding a little kid hostage.
Coward.
Like most of the demons in this. So Rengoku scares him off. He runs, and he hates the smell of that Bento, and he tells Rengoku he is going to kill the people who made the Bento, and runs off. He's like, you can't catch me. I'm stupid fast. Rengoku becomes an actual train.
Yep, sure does.
He doesn't become an actual train. He hops on some tracks and makes fire tracks. It's friggin' sweet. Rengoku is incredibly likable. It's so hard not to like him. He's just so positive about everything. Anything you think about him from llast season is wrong.
Yeah, it's wildly incorrect.
They change all of it. And
he's so incredibly weird, too, but it's fantastic.
It really is. I mean, I don't even know how to explain him. He's got these crazy bug eyes. He looks like Hinata from Haikyuu. Just... But all the time, he's got those crazy eyes. Inosuke calls him bug-eyed. He this whole episode is just about introducing him, getting more time with him, getting to know him, And so that demon gets to the Bento people, and he saves them. Grandma remembers being saved by him, quote unquote.
Because his genetics are solely his dad's.
Yes. So it was his dad that saved her, and they're just so thankful. And then he buys all the Bento. Again.
These poor people putting in so much work. I mean, they're getting money, but that's so much work.
Oh, I know. And, well, he buys them once he gets to the Mugen Train, and that's where we see our usual heroes. And you've got Inosuke just yelling at the train, fucking fight me.
Right.
Because he believes it is the god of the area. Him and Tanjiro are so backwoods that they think the train is a god.
I mean, Inosuke grew up on a mountain by himself, so that's fair, I guess.
I mean... Tanjiro grew up in the mountains by himself. I mean, all his friends are dead.
I mean, I was about to say, by himself after his family was killed.
I mean, that is what it is.
Zach hates orphans.
I don't hate orphans. All right, so when everybody finally gets on the train, they're all so impressed with Rengoku. He's friendly. He's just yelling tasty because he loves his Bento. He's just a weird guy. But once they all start talking, he's like, I'll train you all. And they're all really excited.
Start calling him Big Bro.
Yeah, right. They're all really hype. It's that gremlin energy. I love the gremlin energy that they're bringing to it. Our main characters are just so good about that. It's just really enjoyable. And once the train starts moving and everything, demons show up.
Shocker.
Right? Demons in Demon Slayer?
Heaven forbid.
Damn. And so they make quick work of them. That's when everybody first gets to see Rengoku being a bad bitch. They're all just stunned. Throughout the whole season, it's just like, oh my gosh, the Hashiro's so cool. But that's because Rengoku's so cool. After that, the conductor. The conductor comes through and he's stamping everybody's ticket. Yep. That is mildly important later. That's actually very important later. So
Chekhov's ticket?
Chekhov's ticket. That's exactly what it is. Everybody falls asleep. Turns out that the demon,
Enmu.
Enmu? At the end of last season, all of the remaining...
The lower six
get killed except for one, because Muzan's like, yeah, you guys haven't moved at all. The upper six have held the same spot. I don't know what the point of you is.
Yeah, and then he kills everyone except for Enmu, because Enmu is a simp and be like, I'd be so grateful if you killed me.
Yeah, Enmu is a super androgynous guy and like super horny vibes. Reminds me of Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter.
And Enmu is absolutely a sadist, and that's where all that horny energy around violence comes from.
It really is, and that's just constantly simping over just gross things happening and just violence. So it's just he's a little weird.
Serial killer vibes.
He definitely, and makes a lot of questionable decisions. So.
Besides being a demon, obviously.
I mean, yeah, and he's one of the few demons in this I think is just like bad.
Yeah, they're
just inherently bad. Doesn't have any thoughts. Is just like, I'm gonna be bad to be bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
So when all of our folks fall asleep, it's because Enmu put some of his blood on the tickets, and that like cursed everybody. And
yeah, when they punch the ticket, they fall asleep.
Yeah, and Enmu's like whole blood demon art revolves around putting people to sleep. So he sends some kids in, some actual human children in, they tie a rope around everybody's arms and they get to see everybody's souls. And
that's a terrifying fucking concept.
Isn't it? I mean, honestly, for the kids, because these people are all fucking batshit.
Yeah.
Except Tanjiro, but... You know, that backfires in its own way. And the reason that the demon is using human children, is because demon slayers, especially a Hashira, if a demon gets close enough, that would be enough to break the sleep, is the concern. And so the kids tie their arms around, and everybody's having great dreams. Tanjiro is dreaming about his family being loving and alive. Inosuke is dreaming that he is a cartoonish leader of the squad.
Yep. Basically what he actually sees in his head as real life goes on, except as a dream.
Yeah, him as a straight king, and I think they're hunting down the Mugen Train. Zenitsu is protecting Nezuko.
Giving her a piggyback ride.
Right? And Rengoku's actually isn't super great because it's his dad kind of sucking.
Shocking. An anime dad being bad.
I know, right? But that's why Rengoku goes so hard as a father figure.
Yeah.
You know, we learn from our parents. And he learned not to be a dick. So when these kids get in there, they have to get to the end of the dream to get out. While they're dreaming, Tanjiro's demon slayer self is seeing his old self like in reflections, and he's like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And he needs to break out.
Yeah, he's the only one with any self-awareness and to be able to realize, hey, this is not where I actually am.
Yeah, this shit's actually bad, but it's good, but it's not good.
Hey, my family is alive, but I'm not awake.
The first one we get to see is the kid going into Rengoku's soul. So like once they get out of the dream, they're into the subconscious of the demon slayers, and Rengoku's soul is just flames everywhere. This poor kid is just the way the demon got these kids to do it is promise them happy dreams for the rest of their life. They're miserable, they're dying, and he just is going to give them happy dreams. So that way they can at least be happy even though life is miserable.
Honestly, that's an understandable wish.
I mean, I relate to Madara. I feel like I am going to talk about, there are so many like parallels I can draw to Naruto in this episode. So I don't think any major spoilers, except I guess that one, but I was vague enough.
All right.
Just saying Madara is enough, I feel. But Rengoku's just, this poor kid goes into Rengoku's subconscious. It's just hot as balls. There's fire everywhere. And
just roasting.
When she gets close to stabbing his soul,
his body jumps up.
His body don't give a fuck.
His body is just reacting on instinct, realizes he's about to die, and just puts this girl in a chokehold.
Just chokes her, lifts her up off the ground, doesn't even know he's doing it. And that's just like how strong his senses are. Like Rengoku will survive no matter what.
Yeah.
That might not play out. No promises, you know. But
if you know, you know.
His subconscious is strong, is what I'm getting at. The poor kid going into Zenitsu's dream and subconscious is just being stalked by him because he's like, you're gonna hurt Nezuko.
There can't be another boy in my dreams. Right? Only women everywhere.
He's insufferable. And then with Inosuke, he's just crazy scary. Just the boarhead in general. These poor kids, except for the one. The one is in Tanjiro's soul.
The only sane person on this train.
But he doesn't act sane. I mean, how he gets out of the dreams is not okay.
It's about to go off the rails.
That was a bad train pun.
I'm sorry,
I don't know if I'm mad or forgiving of you. I could be
I'll see
proud.
myself out.
We got to finish this first, and then I'll let you. So Tanjiro's soul, for you youngsters out there, picture 2004. Top 40s, we have this cheesy song. Cheesiest son of a bitchin' song I've ever heard by Jesse McCartney. And it's a song about a beautiful soul.
YouTube it if you have to.
He doesn't want another pretty face.
Pause it and YouTube it.
He just wants you and your beautiful soul. And Demon Slayer wasn't out yet, but I'm pretty sure Jesse McCartney was clairvoyant because that song is actually like, it was super cheesy, but now I get it. It was about Tanjiro the whole time.
I'm pretty sure they had to give him writing credits for the script.
For influencing Tanjiro's soul. So it's blue, clear skies. It's just you're standing on water, and it's just a gorgeous scene. It's kind of like moving. I mean, it really every time that scene comes around, just like, it's so beautiful.
It's like it touches your actual soul.
It really does. It's quite touching. And then so Tanjiro's got like the little soul spirits walking around. They just guide this kid to his soul because Tanjiro is so nice. He's like, I'm gonna help this kid out. Like, his soul just wants to help this kid no matter what he's doing.
You want to kill me? Go ahead.
And the kid can't deal with it. The kid's like, how can something be so beautiful? And while this is all happening, Tanjiro's figuring out what he's got to do.
Yep.
And he gets visited by his dad, and his dad is cryptic. I don't know why he's got to be cryptic. He can just be like, hey, bro, kill yourself. But he's not. Tanjiro gets there anyway, so he puts his sword to his neck. It's such a cool stance. He drops to his knees, puts his sword to his neck with his hand there, and then just hits it through, wakes up. Mind you, he's terrified because he doesn't know if killing himself is going to do it or kill himself.
It's such a bold move.
It is. The stones on this kid are so freaking massive. I can't even deal with them. So he does that. He gets out and then is immediately like, oh shit, what's going on? Does he cut the ropes? I think he cuts the ropes.
I think he cuts the ropes on himself. No.
While he's down, actually, Nezuko headbutts him and then to try to wake him up. And just makes her head bleed, which is just a nice, charming touch.
It's adorable. Not everyone has a hard head in that family.
But Nezuko tries, and then just starts bleeding. So once he wakes up, I think he leaves Nezuko in charge of freeing everybody and to burn because he's like, I don't think I should cut these ropes.
Yeah, you can't cut the ropes. You have to.
Nezuko uses her blood demon art to burn them.
Yeah, which is a loophole.
Yeah, there's always a loophole. I mean, that's in what's that called?
Trope?
Plot armor.
Plot armor?
Plot armor. So Nezuko burns all the ropes, but they still haven't woken everybody up. The kids I think the kids threatened to kill everybody.
Yeah, they
Believe
do.
it or not, I just watched this less than a week ago, and it's just my memory goes. But the second half, I'm going hard. Be ready.
Going hard.
Be ready. And so Tanjiro goes to fight the demon. This fight's so cool. So androgyny demon is
Enmu.
is on top of the train, and Tanjiro goes to fight him, and he just has eyes on his hands. He keeps putting Tanjiro to sleep and can't figure out why Tanjiro keeps running after him. And so it's just like, Tanjiro asleep, wakes up, Tanjiro sleeps, wakes up, and he's like, this motherfucker is just killing himself again and again and again. What is wrong with this kid?
Right? And he just does not take a break. All the movement is fluid. Every time he wakes up, he's right back to where he was. He never went to sleep.
He's a fucking monster. It's terrifying. And Enmu is terrified. And that's why Tanjojo is just crushing it. And I love this scene.
It's like a zombie movie for Enmu. He just keeps coming.
Right? And so Tanjiro gets up to him. He ends up he gets his head cut off.
Enmu, not Tanjiro.
Yes. I mean, Tanjiro did get his head cut off a whole bunch of times in his dreams. But before he gets there, Enmu gives him a dream that isn't nice. It's not his family being friendly. It's his family blaming him for his death. And this time, instead of being sad, he gets mad.
Because that's the one thing you cannot tell him.
Yeah, he's just like, that is not my family. You bring shame to who they are.
They love me even though I let them die.
And so he goes and he cuts off Enmu's head, but it's such a sweet scene because he goes and he cuts off his head, but the sword connects with Enmu's neck, and then a dragon, a water dragon, comes from the side and then just takes the rest of it off. It's so fucking sweet. And that's after this, just this hard-ass run of him just falling asleep, killing himself, falling asleep, killing himself, and then just that finish. I would have been okay with that finish.
Yeah, if that had been where the movie ends, or season ends, or manga ends,
pick any of them. I'd be happy, honestly. It was very fulfilling, but it was too easy. Tanjiro even says that was too easy. And then the head gets up, and Enmu's just like,
look at me. I'm the train now.
And like, so Enmu, while everyone was sleeping, fused his body with the train. And I'm just like wondering, what's your end game here? Like, okay, yeah, you kill everybody, but then what?
I just assume that Enmu has a hyperfixation on trains.
He's like Selfie from FF8. Just like freaking crazy about trains. Doesn't matter what happens next. You kill a Hashira, Muzan's happy, and then you just live your life out as a train. I mean, all right, cool. I can vibe with that. We all got our kinks. It's better than the sadism.
I swear to God, if someone makes a fan fiction about that.
I might read it. I might. We'll go with...
You can't read. You're illiterate.
I would read a doujin, I guess.
You would have me read it to you.
If only we had the time for that. This takes up all our damn time.
Fair.
So everybody wakes up. Rengoku wakes up. Inosuke wakes up. And when Inosuke wakes up, he immediately jumps on top of the train. So Inosuke goes to Tanjiro, and Tanjiro's like, the train's a demon. And Inosuke's like, I fucking told you.
Why'd you think I wanted to fight it this entire time?
He's been trying to fight it the whole time, and he was right. Damn Skippy.
If you had just let Inosuke fight from the beginning, this entire thing could have been avoided.
So Tanjiro goes down, and the train, this is an issue I've got with it, is there's the train becomes amorphous blobs going everywhere.
It's like you're inside of a body.
Yeah, but...
like a demon body, but still a body.
But the CGI it's not great. It's not the worst, but it's just not my favorite about it.
Yeah, any other time they use CGI really heavily is... generally turns out well for Demon Slayer, but this was not fantastic.
And this one just didn't hit hard. But you know what? So much of the other fighting animation is so good that it makes up for any issue.
They spent all their budget on the fighting animation.
Yeah, really. It's just like everything went into the last 2 episodes of this season. I can't wait to get to it. Inosuke and Tanjiro go down below to try to... well, at least Tanjiro goes down below to try to protect everybody. Yep. He's trying, but he's like, I can do 2 trains at most. Rengoku shows up. First they show Rengoku fucking light up. He gets all flamey and just like cuts the shit out of it.
Starts wrecking shit.
And it shows Enmu get like hurt. Yes. You know, when everybody else was doing it, Enmu didn't care, but Hashira, they don't give a shit. And then Zenitsu also, you know, he got put to sleep. I think he got woken up, but he also got put to sleep. And he's just like, joke's on you, I'm into that shit. So he's fighting now too. Rengoku's just like, I got 5 trains.
You and Nezuko take the first 3.
First
3.
3, yeah, you're right. I don't count good either. Oh, gosh, I'm number illiterate too.
That's why you keep me around.
Sean keeps me on track.
That and to reach high things because you're not as tall as me.
I'm not. Sean is a monster. So Rengoku, who's such a cool guy, trusts Tanjiro and Inosuke to go and save the day. And so they go and save the day. They head up
Spoiler alert, they save the day.
Believe it or not, the day gets saved. So Inosuke is like, I can already sense his neck. It's up by the coal. They go up there. They bare the neck bone.
Yep, they just take off the floor of the train?
Yeah, the floor, but then it's fleshy floor. You know, the concept of becoming a train is super weird.
Yeah, excuse us if we get the anatomy of a train wrong.
But there is a neck bone. Definitively, it has a neck bone.
Vertebrae and everything.
So Kenchu Piku, he goes ahead and he tries to cut it, but then it blocks. No, Inosuke tries to cut it and it blocks.
Yeah.
So Tanjiro's like, okay, so we got to get our breathing together and then take it out in one fell swoop. And Inosuke's like, he just stops in the middle of like all this combat. He's like, you know what?
That's a really good idea.
It's just, Inosuke is so charming. He's so dumb. I love it. I think I am like Inosuke levels of idiot, and I think that's just not a compliment because I'm not as charming as
I mean, I'm not here denying it. You said it.
My words, not yours. As this is happening, once Enmu stops them, eyes everywhere. And so Tanjiro just can't, like, he falls asleep, kills himself, wakes up to eyes in front of him. Just keeps doing it. Finally, he's got the sword to his neck.
And then Inosuke grabs the sword like, hey, idiot, this isn't a dream.
Don't fall for these tricks. And
which is
just like...
which is just a really baller tactic by Enmu because you're just going to lull him into a false insecurity and make him kill himself in real life. That is such a good tactic.
It really was. I was like, oh, shit, you're too smart, bro. But not too smart for Inosuke.
He's so dumb. He's come full circle and is a genius.
I'm pretty sure that it's just Enmu was trying to put asleep the boarhead.
Yeah, and then he just can't because he just assumes, that the human with a boar head, has eyes where they are.
And so he just never manages to get Inosuke. And then, oh no, humans are the trouble again. The conductor just wants his happy dreams, and he goes to stab Inosuke.
And you know what? Tanjiro, being the nice guy he is, takes that for Inosuke. He just dives in front of him like he's the fucking president.
Gut stab with like an ice pick.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly he stabbed him with, but it definitely looks like an ice pick. Something narrow and really, really sharp.
It looked painful. I mean, stabbing's painful? Holy shit.
I know, surprise, but like gut wounds? No.
So at this point, they're like, we got to do something quick. And they team up. They both jump up, start coming down on it, and eyes everywhere. And Inosuke's like, not today, bitch.
Haha, guess what? I can't see.
So he takes out the eyes and then takes out the skin. Our boy Tanjiro takes off the neck.
And that's about the end for Enmu.
And the Mugen Train. So
turns out there was brakes on the Mugen Train.
There were brakes. It just went off the track. No brakes on the Mugen Train. It just fell apart and went off the track.
I mean, I would say death is a break.
If only we could all get that break. Am I too millennial humor for that? So Rengoku made sure that everybody was safe. He used all his techniques and stuff, and everybody lived. Tanjiro's really concerned about the dude that stabbed him.
Because he's way too nice for his own damn good.
And Inosuke's like, what's wrong with you?
Moron, you're bleeding.
And then we get Enmu's like, he doesn't even have a sob story. He's such a dick. He's just like, I'm sad. It's the Flame Hashira's fault. It's also the lightning guy's fault. It's also the pig's fault. And it's also Tanjiro's fault. He doesn't say his name. He says, this kid. And blah, blah, blah. My life is hard. If I could go back in time, I'd fix it. Oh, no.
It's too late for that, you coward.
So he dies, and Rengoku shows up, and he's just like, hey, bro, you did good, but you're, like, gonna die, so how about you focus on your breathing?
Because, breathing heals everything.
In this world, it does.
I know.
And he's just like, okay, so you need to focus on your nerves, and then you need to...
find the blood vessel.
And then close it off. Just close it off.
Just clamp down.
Like, I feel a little pain in my chest. I don't know if I'm dying or if I just strained my arm because I'm out of shape. He's just like...
Yeah, just find this particular blood vessel and then flex that one particular set of muscles around that blood vessel, and then you'll be fine. You'll just be able to, walk that shit off.
But then we get the evil version of Naruto's arrival music. It's Naruto's theme song, but fucking
the inverse.
Scary. Yeah, just Here we meet
Akaza, the third of the upper moon,
yes,
upper rank, upper moon,
upper
either
moon
one.
3, and now he's scared.
He is not here to play.
So he's just immediately just super into Rengoku, and Rengoku's like, well, I don't like you.
That's never stopped Akaza before.
So he's like trying to slide into his DMs. Right away, Akaza tries to attack Tanjiro, and he's just like, and Rengoku's like, why would you do that? And he's just like, I didn't want him to get in the way of our conversation. Rengoku's like, I know I don't like you.
Right? You can't just attack.
He just keeps, like this whole conversation throughout this fight, which is astounding. I love everything about
fantastic fight.
These next episodes. It's just Akaza going, become a demon. Oh, being a demon's cool. You won't die. And Rengoku just being like, I really don't like you.
Again, that's never stopped Akaza before.
But that's how nice Rengoku is. He's just like, that's his only response. He's not like a dick. He's just like, you're wrong and I don't like you. Being human is cool. That makes us strong.
Akaza's like, love me.
Just notice me, senpai, notice me. Tanjiro immediately notices he smells like Muzan. He's like, this is the closest smelling thing to Muzan I have ever smelled. Akaza's just insulting him, and Rengoku just being the cool guy he's like, don't insult my friend, because he keeps calling Tanjiro a weakling.
Because, he's got to stick up for your friends and the power of friendship and all that.
The power of friendship works, though. The power of friendship stopped the Mugen Train.
It did stop the Mugen Train.
So this fight gets underway. I love the pacing of this fight.
Yeah, it's a slow build-up, which is exactly what it deserved.
Yeah, and it's kind of, they're testing each other out.
Like, are you really all that you say you are?
And so the Akaza has destructive arts instead of, he doesn't call it
Blood Demon
Art, but he's like destructive art. So he gets up in Rengoku's face, throws a couple fists, and he regenerates stupid fast. Oh my God, he gets his arm cut in half, and it's just like flippy flopping around, and then just seals heals up.
And then it just like pops out like he's actually just falling through on a punch.
That is later. This one, he just gets cut down the middle, remember? And he's just like flippy flopping it around. It's just gross. I love it.
There's so much action.
It is so much to keep up with, and I love it. And so, but when he does get his arms cut off, it's exactly like that.
It's like a cannon.
Yeah, it really is. And the sound it makes, it's just like this glush. It's great. The whole soundtrack for this fight is also just killer. It stops with the psh, psh, and it goes to like...
It's got like Tibetan throat singing in there.
It's fucking killer.
That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not by much.
But it's really hype, and it just adds so much to how cool this fight is. And I just can't get enough of it. So... one of his destructive arts, he shoots air missiles.
Yes.
He just punches the air, and that comes at Rengoku. And I just love his art 3 or 4, blooming undulation. And he's just like, he's undulating to stop these blows. And it's freaking sweet.
I'm pretty sure you just like saying the word undulating.
I do. It's very enjoyable. It's a fun word. And Rengoku's like, I'm never going to kill him if I don't close the gap. And just... poof, he just fucking blasts straight ahead, and
then Akaza just nuts himself about his reflexes.
He does. The whole time, he's just like so into his fighting. And so Inosuke shows up, and as soon as he shows up, Rengoku's like, stay there. You'll just get in the way, essentially.
And he just freezes. Like, you never see Inosuke freeze.
And Inosuke's just like, they're on a whole other level, which he'll die on. I hate the phrase, a whole nother level. I feel like every show does it. Yep. It's just like, I just feel like there's so many other ways to put it, and I'm sure that it's a translation thing, but I just hate the phrase whole nother level because like it just sounds so lame to me.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like something Inosuke would actually say.
Yeah, right. Akaza is just going on about become a demon because then we can spar forever. We can get stronger. Be a demon. Be a demon.
Be a demon. I love you. Be a demon.
And so the fight starts getting to a dangerous place. Rengoku starts taking damage.
Yep, sure does.
Akaza doesn't take damage. I mean, he just heals right away, and that's what he's going on about. So first, Rengoku takes a shot to the head.
He actually dodges the shot, but like the force of it gashes his forehead.
That's what it is, and then he breaks some ribs. There's so much rib breaking in this show, but I feel like every time it's really a good feeling.
Oh, it's such a visceral thing because you can see the punch hit and then slow down like it's meeting resistance and then continue.
And then just, the crowd. Yeah, every time a rib breaks, it is so fulfilling for me. It kind of reminds me of in Last of Us, the video game Last of Us, if you've played it. Whenever you kill someone with a brick, it's just the sound of thudding. It's just so visceral, like you said. And the rib breaking in this kind of reminds me of that. It's just great. The poor people, though. And then he loses an eye. Well, he doesn't lose. I think his eye...
Yeah, I mean, he gets punched in the eye.
His eye gets punched in, but...
We don't get any verification on whether or not he lost it. It's just shut the entire rest of the fight.
Yeah. So something great about this is it just shows how big the gap is from our heroes and Ahashira. Because, something that Rengoku does is he even blocks with the side of his sword. Mm-hmm. When you're looking at Tanjiro, he breaks his sword slashing down. A weak point of a sword is its side. And the fact that Rengoku's sword isn't breaking because of how skilled he is.
His technique is so impeccable. And ha-ha,
impeccable is a great word. It's just, it really shows what it means to be a Hashira. It's just such a sweet fight. And so he's real hurt. But then he throws a flame tiger, and this is where we were talking about the CGI.
And the CGI is great in this, and the flame tiger looks fantastic. I just have one minor complaint about the flame tiger, is that it wasn't an actual tiger. I was hoping for an actual tiger.
You mean you wanted him to just throw a living animal?
Yes, absolutely. What part of that didn't you understand?
It just seems weird to just send an animal to its grave for no reason. But you know what? Hey, listen, to each their own. We all enjoy our own things. So after the flame tiger, we get a did he win? Did he win is a cursed phrase in this. Because Inosuke says, did he win? And then blood drips. And
that's the end of that particular episode.
So we've got, you can just tell how hurt Rengoku is. He's just breathing so heavily. It's like me looking at tacos.
It's just son of a bitch.
More become a demon because this wouldn't be a problem if you were a demon.
Because he just wants an enemies to lovers arc.
He really does. This guy's more persistent than a Mormon, I'm telling you. But Rengoku's not having it. He gets lit as fuck. The whole sucker just lights up. He essentially it's like opening the 8th gate, freaking Guy from Naruto opening the 8th gate. It's tough as shit.
Oh, and he fantastic.
says, esoteric art.
Esoteric
art. I'm illiterate.
It's not even a proper noun.
I don't even know what words are. Thank you. It's Akaza is just like, well, now I'm scared and horny.
Oh, how I go through my life.
And so Rengoku uses his line, set your heart ablaze, and then does his Form 9, which is called Rengoku, just guns it at him.
Yeah, right? Just closes the gap super fast.
We get a really sweet scene where it's just like they close the gap. He cuts Akaza's arm down the middle, down one shoulder,
then back up the body.
Twists the sword.
Oh, I forgot about the twist.
Back up, and then you just get a tornado of fire. It's so freaking sweet. Also, while he was charging, there was a dragon.
There was a dragon.
He's like a dragon bullet. The whole scene is just so sweet. It's really well animated. And for this whole scene, it's just like their line work is super dark, and it just makes it feel so intense.
It's like adding lines for speed.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is. It's like, it is the same as making your car faster by putting flames on it. It's just so fucking cool.
Same idea, except it actually works.
I don't know. My car got faster when I put flames on it. Trust me.
Is that what the cop told you when he pulled you over?
I get pulled over so much, it's nuts. I don't get tickets. I just get pulled over for every goddamn thing. But back to the story. So after we get the tornado, we get that horrible line again.
Did he win?
Did he win? Nah.
Of course not.
Nah.
In this economy?
Yeah, no, Hashira's going to beat an upper 3. Not in this economy. And so he didn't win. In fact, he's got a fist through him. All the way through.
All the way through. Like, the ribs gave way on the last punch, and this time
there's nothing stopping it. Now, the sun starts coming up, and Akaza's getting desperate immediately. Because,
sun kills demons.
And so he's panicking, trying to get away. He tries punching Rengoku. Rengoku just catches his arm. And he's like, how is he this strong still?
And he just will not let him go. He's got that gorilla grip.
Yeah, And Rengoku, actually just before this, has a flashback to his childhood and his mom.
Yep.
It's a sweet flashback because, well, first of all, I wasn't sure if it was going to be sweet because she's got like red eyes. And I'm like, is that Mu's mom?
Not just the red eyes, but she's got the dark hair and the pale complexion of Muzan.
She looks a lot like Muzan. It's just like...
Except hotter.
Yeah, Mu's mommy. But, she's telling him that it's his duty as someone strong to protect the weak. I feel like for any other child...
Yeah, that's a lot. That's like a soul-crushing level of weight to put on a child.
Right? But not for Rengoku. As a child, he's like, yes.
He's like, I was expecting more. Yeah,
right.
Disappointed me, Mom.
That's just how cool he is. He's always been like that. He has always been the same. And then, so after that flashback, a hole inside of him pulls up his sword and starts cutting Akaza's neck.
He's like, if I'm dying, you're dying with me.
And Akaza's, even outside of that, is just like, I'm panicking because he's got to get away from the sun. And Rengoku has used the hole in his body as a hand to hold on to these arms.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he used that breathing technique he was talking to Tanjiro about to just like clamp down.
And so both of his arms are being held. Rengoku's just like, nah, dog.
We die together.
And, he's just talking about setting his heart ablaze. At this point, Tanjiro is like, we gotta do something. And Inosuke runs and goes to stab Akaza.
Yeah, he leaps up in the air. He does whatever art it does. Beast Fang number 1.
Yes. Stabbing something. Stibby stab.
The general Inosuke move. And he's just like a missile with 2 swords pointed forward.
Akaza just breaks his arms off. He had no other option. He just breaks his arms right off and then starts running. Sword, literally, he broke the sword off too, or carried it with him, and just starts running into the woods to hide from the sun.
Coward.
Absolute coward. Tanjiro ain't having it.
Absolutely not.
Tanjiro just runs after him.
Because, he's sane.
I love this because in about 3 minutes, Tanjiro goes through
all the stages of grief.
The entire grief cycle. So, at first he's just like in denial. Doesn't even worry about it. He's in denial to the point that he's just like, I can take this guy.
Yes.
Runs after him, and then we've got anger.
Yep.
He throws his sword.
Like he's fucking John Elway.
And then just starts screaming. And this is one of the best monologues I have ever heard. It's just, I love Tanjiro screaming, obviously empty threats, because he can barely move. And he's just like, he throws his sword, just like, don't run away, coward! I'm not done with you! Running from, and then the guy is just like, Akaza's like, I'm not running from you, I'm running from the sun.
You're an idiot. Do you have a brain?
Right? He's just like, turn and face me. Don't forget, you're a demon. We fight demons. We fight demons on their ground. Rengoku won. Rengoku was the victor, you coward. Don't think you won. It's just like, he's just like so fucking mad. And he's just like, Rengoku was the victor.
Like, he's so adamant about being wrong.
Rengoku's the true victor. And then he just loud crying scream. He's just, ah!
Just starts ugly crying.
And then another scream, more screaming. And Rengoku's just smiles. And he's like, come here, young Tanjiro. Tanjiro comes over and he's just like, Tanjiro, if you keep that up, you're going to reopen your wound. And if you were to die here, that would truly spell defeat for me. You know, that's just true Rengoku form. You
just
know?
Lives to protect people.
And that's like in his dying moments, all he cares about is these young guys.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. He doesn't live to protect people. He dies to protect people.
That's so harsh. So he tells Tanjiro they need to speak one last time. He tells him he remembered his home and that there are writings about the flame style and that those writings might have something about Tanjiro's fire breathing. This is where Tanjiro hits the bargaining phase.
Sure
he's
does.
Just like,
can't you heal yourself?
Can't you heal yourself? Rengoku's like, no.
Breathing ain't fixing this.
Yeah, I'm gonna die, buddy.
It's like, you can physically see through me. Like, you could put your head through my wound.
The sun's shining through.
Oh, God.
It is after, like, because what happens is the sun comes up, the arm in him disappears, and he's just bleeding out very quickly. But so then the depression hits, and Tanjiro is very sad. But Rengoku is having this conversation. He's like, Nezuko's cool now. I'm down with her. She fought demons. That makes her a member of the Corps. I don't care what anybody says.
Too bad he's dying, so he can't tell everyone that.
No, he can't say a word of it. But, you know, it's the thought that counts, right?
Sure.
And, you know, he said, he's just like, listen, guys, if you feel like at any moment you're not Knuff.
Fuck off.
You are Knuff. Set your heart ablaze. You know, he's talking about the Will of Fire. Also, that's a shout out to Naruto because they're always talking about the Will of Fire and like what it means to be human is to pass things down to the next generation. And he's just talking about how they will become the next Hashira. And
that young buds must bloom.
That's right. And, you know, he calls to them. He's just like, young Kamado, young Boar.
Sweet rap name. And Inosuke out here about to drop the most fire mixtape.
Dropping his mic is young Boar. And then Boy of Yellow. Like, he's like, I believe in all of you.
But not enough to learn your names.
He does not believe in memorizing names, but he believes in all of them. And he says, you know, not to grieve. Time won't wait for you to grieve. Move on, grow, become Hashira. And then he sees his mom.
And it's such a sweet scene that Moo's mommy shows up.
We're not ruining it or anything. And he asks her, you know, did I do good? And he got that sweet, sweet validation that all millennials want. And she said,
that's all I want.
He gets to hear those words, I'm proud of you. And then it just makes him smile and die. And I feel like if I heard the words, I'm proud of you, I would probably just die of validation.
Right? Yeah, that's just too much for the body.
I couldn't handle it. You know, he just goes down like an Eaton Park cookie.
Jesus Christ. Is that too regional?
It might be, but...
Google it.
Google it. We've always got Google. Tanjiro is still feeling that depression and frustration, and he's just like, every time I hit a wall...
He just hits another wall.
A bigger, thicker wall. Like, the wall's got girth every time, and it's just, he's seeing his heroes fight, and he's just on the sideline every time.
Watching two people who are way beyond him just battle it out, just duke it out.
And being helpless. He's bawling. Zenitsu's bawling.
Then even
Inosuke's in that denial stage now because he's just like, he's like, stop blubbering.
Yeah,
and Zenitsu's like, you're crying.
And then we finally see tears start coming out of his mask. What I picture in my head is that Inosuke was crying the entire time, and eventually his mask started flooding, and it just started coming out of the eyes.
Out of the boar's eyes.
He was actually secretly drowning the entire time and just refused to take off his mask.
Oh, yeah. And he essentially just headbutts Zenitsu. He's like, I'm not crying, you're crying. And then one of the most relatable things that has ever happened in this series is just the run he does.
Oh, my God.
It's just like, he just does his flailing arm running, crying. And it's just like, fam, I feel that.
I feel that so hard, but it's made way better by the fact that he's still holding his sword.
And it's just like, that is how I interpret grief. That is how I feel when I grieve. It's just so real for me. I love it so much. And he's just like, guys, we need to train our asses off so that, we can live up to Rengoku. He believed in us. Quit your blubbering. And it's just, God, Inosuke is so great.
Yeah, he's literally dragging Tanjiro, like, let's go train, as if he doesn't have an open wound in his stomach.
Yeah, no, he just drags him off. Like, we're not worried about that wound opening again anymore, I guess. I mean, Inosuke's never cared. And so then there's Rengoku's crow is watching. His crow cries, and then they show how every Hashira reacts to it. They all, to some extent, liked Rengoku, and so they're all upset. Some can't believe it, and things like that.
Yeah, the usual scenes of remorse and grief and shock.
Yeah, and it's just a great scene to go out on. But that's not actually the scene we go out on, because after the credits, you get these sweet end credits. They're really touching. And then Tanjiro era secret.
Taisho.
Tanjiro era secret.
Tanjiro era.
And it's just like, they're just like happy. They get to meet.
Oh, Tengen.
Yeah.
Tengen Uzui.
They meet Tengen, and he's just like, tell me about yourselves. And Zenitsu's just talking about his favorite food. It's just like, fuck Rengoku. We're over that. So we have...
Out of sight, out of mind.
We have acceptance.
We have acceptance.
And so that's our season. Well, that's our half of the season. That's Mugen Train. That's where we're going to take our break, because there's no breaks on the Mugen Train, but we
physically need to take a break.
My throat hurts from screaming. I'm sorry if that was insufferable.
And my tummy's rumbling. I need food.
Oh, yeah. I always forget to eat on podcast day.
Me too.
It's actually, by the time we're done, I'm just ravenous.
His blood sugar's so low, he's about to pass out every time he signs off.
That's just me being alive. It's hard for me to be alive. I'm too skinny, I guess. I don't know. So I just want to revisit that if you've got friends who are interested, or you're trying to get people into anime, Demon Slayer's great for that. It's such a good introduction. It is well, for as far as I'm concerned, it's well paced, well animated. It doesn't have a lot of the weird cringe. The funny moments are funny, except I'm not looking at you, Zenitsu. The series is really enjoyable for, I feel like, almost anyone.
As long as you enjoy action, and even if you don't, but especially if you enjoy action, drag your fucking friends in front of a TV or a computer screen and make them watch it.
Just make them. I mean, that's just it. Just make them.
Bully them. I don't condone bullying except for this.
Yes, that's the only time is this and Dawn to Dawn. Always Dawn to Dawn. As far as how shameful this season is, we're going to go on a scale of 1, becoming a human bagel, and 10, having that beautiful soul.
Shout out Jesse McCartney.
Always shout out to Jesse McCartney. Thank you. I understand you now. It means so much to me. You've changed me.
Fucking dork.
I'm going to give it a 7, just because there's just so much thirst for murder, I mean...
the sadism's a little high.
Yeah, and so, I don't know, that guy's just so weird. I don't like him. I mean, like, I'm cool with him identifying as a train. I'm about that. Like, live your best life. But...
Totally didn't see that when the whole thing started, by the way.
Right? But just like, cool your jets, buddy. Cool. So I think a 7's solid. It's just weird, but it's not one of those things that's so weird. People are like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you might stop and say, why is this guy so horny for violence?
Yeah, I mean, if someone walks in, like, just to one of his scenes, you're gonna have some explaining to do.
But it's not, like, terribly. You'd be like, hey, let me just rewind this for, like, 15 seconds and you'll get it.
Right? So, I mean, really, it's just this whole season was great. I've been hyped the whole time. I feel like when I'm watching stuff for the podcast, since it's kind of work, I always drag my feet. And then just once I started, I was just like, I forgot how fucking good this is. This is so damn good.
Yeah, I was so excited for this that I watched it immediately after we recorded the last podcast.
I had started it, but really those last 2 episodes, just everything about the Rengoku Akaza fight is so cool.
It's such a fucking dead sprint, too.
Yeah, I know. It really is. And it's just, I mean, it just sets the bar so high. The first season was great, but like...
And then the first half of the second season, just top tier.
It's such a peak. And it's just like, how are they even going to combat this?
Well, we're going to find out.
They do. Honestly, the next arc is even better. And like the fight scenes are even better. Like this series just keeps building. I've heard the third season doesn't, but we'll get to that eventually. I'm not worried about that right now.
We'll get to that when we get to that, and we'll be here to bring it to you.
Right? And really, like, my biggest beef with this season was, I mean, I can deal with weirdo, but it's just the train CGI and then just the thirst for
Violence.
I mean, I'm cool with thirst for violence, but it's just like being thirsty for violence is my issue.
Not valid.
And I mean, outside of that, it's just such a good season. They just keep delivering.
Yeah, I mean, I have no real complaints other than the lack of an actual flame tiger.
Stop wanting animals to be murdered.
I don't want them to be murdered.
It would have died immediately. And it's just like, what's wrong? Euthanasia is fine, but like, why volunteer something for it? I'm sorry if you don't like euthanasia.
Sorry to all the vegans out there.
So that's our episode. I hope to catch you guys next time. We are going to be doing a deep dive into the manga Kaiju number 8.
Thank you for getting the number right.
It's such a great series.
I'm so proud of you.
It's such a fun series. You get old man living his dream, and by old man I mean 32. I'm not old, I'm 34, but apparently I am. And it's just fighting giant monsters as a not giant monster,
and sweet technology and giant axes and swords
and super big sniper rifles. Such a good manga. Pick it up if you got the time. I strongly recommend it.
Even if you don't have the time, pick it up.
Hell yeah. I don't have the time and I manage. If you're not really into manga, catch us for 2 episodes from now. We're going to start covering Samurai Champloo.
The classic.
It is an anime so good that even my wife watched it, and she just inherently hates anime.
It's so good. I thought about spending $400 on eBay to get the vinyl.
I'm ashamed that you didn't, honestly. When you told me about it, I was like, yeah, fucking yeah, and then it never came. I was expecting it.
Because I'm a coward.
The soundtrack for this is really good. It's by the same creator as Cowboy Bebop, and he actually, like, I'm pretty sure that he does the soundtrack before he does an episode.
So he can write for the mood of the...
Exactly.
Yep.
So the music's so important to it, and it's just a killer show. It's like the fight scenes are so well choreographed. I mean, it's what you would expect from the creator of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it's exactly what you imagine, except, swap out space for samurais.
Yeah, exactly. And so catch us for that if you skip out on Kaiju. At this point, it's time for us to put away our Inosuke nightlight.
And hide our life-size Rengoku cardboard cutout.
And until next time, let's keep it low-key, weebs.